Buenos días, camaradas. Me llamo Sergio. Viva la Cuba. Patria o muerte. Вы слушаете программу Ushanka Show, и сегодня мы снова будем говорить о Кубе. Well, comrades, you probably guessed already that we're gonna talk a little bit more about Cuba, or we say in Russian, Cuba. I don't know how many of you are aware that the operation of transferring nuclear missiles from the Soviet Union to Cuba had a nickname, I guess you can say a nickname, Anadyr. And it's interesting why they picked this name, because Anadyr is actually it's the name of the port town and administrative center of Chukotka region in Russia. So it's a far, far east, where it's close to Alaska. So it's totally opposite direction than Cuba. And in fact, as a part of disguise, maskirovka, as we say in Russian, several crews of the ships were given skis, stoves, and overcoats, and they knew that they go into Anadyr, which is Chukotka. So neither crews of the ships nor military personnel knew where they're going until they passed the Gibraltar Straits, went to the Atlantic, and after that they were told that they're heading out to Cuba. So today I invite you to join me and have a look from the totally new angle. You probably saw a lot of photos related to Caribbean crisis from the American point of view, because Soviets were busy working while Americans were taking pictures. So here we're gonna take at the pictures taken by the Soviet personnel on Cuba. So we are talking about 1962. Photos were taken from August till December of that year during the Caribbean crisis. And here's our main hero, Captain Barbakov, during the Atlantic crossing. He's on the left, and as I said, he was a captain of the group of Soviet collective farm workers that were tasked with planting some aluminum cucumbers in the backyard of Uncle Sam. And I wonder if anyone would recognize my reference about planting aluminum cucumbers. This is, I think, the most amazing photo in this collection. So this is the Soviet sailor, or probably one of the kolkhozniks, collective farm workers, dressed in civilian clothing, because they weren't allowed to wear military uniforms on that ship. So here he's greeting American U.S. Navy Lockheed P-2 Neptune reconnaissance plane. And he's just shaking his fist. He's not showing the middle finger, because in Soviet Union we didn't use that. We didn't use the middle finger, and it's not so-called figa, dula, because on the angle you could see he's just shaking his fist. Another really cool picture, and here we go again. It's a U.S. Navy Lockheed EC-121 Warning Star. So there's another reconnaissance spy plane of U.S. Navy. So apparently Americans were suspicious about the Soviet cargo ship suddenly flocking to Cuba, and this picture is just the proof of it. Another cool photo. So now they are at the garden. They started working on making a launch pads for their aluminum cucumbers, and now the guards are already dressed in their military fatigues. So those are Soviet soldiers posing by the rocket launch pad, or they call it guarded for the aluminum cucumbers. And here the construction of the launching pad, and people look happy and smiling. It's kind of unusual. Usually we don't smile on the pictures, but here guys are having a good time. And you know, I could think they probably had a hard time because of the climate, because in Soviet Union we don't have such a hot weather, humid weather as Cuba does. So I think it was quite a challenge for a lot of Soviet soldiers and officers to work in Cuba. Another amazing picture. So here there's a Cuban soldiers posing with PPSH. We call it PPSH, Pistolet-Pulemет Shapashnikova, but in English we say PPSH, machine guns, automat, and on the left is our guy, our officer, but the rest are the Cubans. So I didn't know that we actually sold or donated a bunch of World War II weapons to Cubans, but here we are. Cuban soldiers with pepper shot machine guns. This picture was taken after a day of hard labor at the garden. So, and you know, from a distance you could tell those guys look just like young American soldiers. Really not much difference, isn't it? Cuban billboard calling people to the arms. And on the bottom it says Patria o Muerta, the famous call, fatherland or death. I believe I translated it correctly from Spanish. Cute picture of Cuban children. And to think about it, it was taken in 1962, so almost 60 years ago. So those children right now, old people in their 70s. So it's kind of sad. I wonder how their life turned out, but very cute picture. Look at those hot Cuban ladies. And it's interesting, the Soviets were calling Cuban girls muchachas. So that was like a nickname. They would say in Russian, okay, pошли к muchachам. Let's go see muchachas. So that was the nickname for the ladies. And it's females, right? In Spanish, I believe. And I wonder, I need to dig a little bit deeper to find out if there's any love stories, like maybe someone end up marrying a Cuban girl and staying in Cuba, or brought a Cuban girl back to the Soviet Union. That'll be an interesting topic to look for. Another cool picture, Cuban street life. And I can only imagine, because, you know, Soviet people didn't travel out of the country at all, pretty much. So that was so exotic to be in Cuba for them, to see different type of people. No one speaks Russian, right? That was pretty cool, I believe. You know, palm trees, white sandy beaches, ocean. Yeah, that was probably very, very cool for the Soviet personnel to be in Cuba. Here we have several Soviet officers posing with Cubans once again, because the Cubans were so exotic. So there's just pictures of, hey, take a picture of me with this Cuban guy. And it's interesting what kind of weapon one of the guys carrying. I believe it's American, right? What about this picture? This is so amazing. So this is taken already in, I believe, December of 1962 on the way home. Gardens are planted, cucumbers already sprouted, and even got noticed by Uncle Sam. So now we see this U.S. Navy destroyer number 933 pretty much approaching very, very closely and dangerously Soviet ship to take photos, trying to harass it, I'm not sure. And there's another airplane on the background, not sure what model is that, but this is a really cool photo. Very nice close shot of destroyer number 933. And you know, Soviet cameras at that time, at 60s, didn't have a big zoom lens, so this ship was very, very close to the Soviet ship. And of course you see the airplane on the background, so amazing photo. You know what else amazing? Google. Because it took me literally less than 10 seconds. I just type it in, U.S. Navy destroyer 933, and sure enough, it turned out to be USS Berry number DD-933, which was launched in 1955, got decommissioned in 1982, and yes, it did participate in Caribbean blockade in 1962. So everything just perfectly matching, isn't it? And in fact, check it out, this picture. I think we're looking now from American angle at exactly the same ship. So this is a view of the Soviet ship. When you search for USS Berry and you search for Caribbean crisis, this picture shows up. So now it's American view of the same situation. I think it's really, really amazing. And the last photo, saying goodbye to American destroyer USS Berry and heading back home. Mission accomplished. Cucumbers are planted. And we're very, very close to the nuclear holocaust. Okay, camaradas, I hope you enjoyed this video. And as a small bonus, here's a short slideshow of Cuban muchachas So the pictures taken of the Soviet soldiers on the beaches of Cuba. Enjoy it. Have a good day. Stay healthy. Goodbye. Hey, by the way, the cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. Just a friendly reminder that my book American Diaries is available on amazon.com, or shoot me an email if you would like to have a signed copy. Thank you. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.